that is their right. Join us now for a discussion from somewhere between the real and the imagined, between outer and inner space, where things just odd enough to be the truth have a place to live, breathe, and make their home. Recorded live from the jagged edge of reality. This is JAG Radio.
You're damn right it is. That's right, everybody, live on the Super Audio Network. You're listening to the show where guys get together to talk about guy things. Oh, but we are not talking awesome asses or assessing a female's physical beauty. Oh, well, we might talk about that, but generally, no. Generally, we are talking about whether or not the possibility exists of alien life. I am Alex Martinelli, here with JD Marcel, George Antonio, and producer Dre Day All Day. How's everybody doing?
Hello.
Hello, all aliens
Hi,
out
how's
there.
it going, everybody?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
What's
everybody.
up? Merry Christmas from the JAG team to all you loyal listeners. Everybody who's been with us since the days we were scrapping it at a location that will remain hidden as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
In Texas.
That's right. It's the studio that I built with my own two goddamn hands.
Was it really in Texas, by the way?
Yes.
The studio's so big, dude, that a fucking burger restaurant was inside of it.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's right.
We did have our own
They
burger
had,
restaurant.
yeah, that's right. We hired
Wow.
them all, and we fired them all. when we left.
That's right. Because we are cold-blooded bastards who do not care.
Trump.
Yeah, that's right. Well, listen, we anytime anyone mentions the name of the great one, we must fold our hands together as though we are praying in order to pay homage. No, but speaking of food and culinary things, one of the subplots of today's show, for those of you that are watching on video, is I happened to find a strange foreign liquor bottle in my folks' house. You heard me as I very quietly put it back down on the console there.
That's a heavy bottle,
And
dude.
we don't know what it is, but we're going to go ahead and drink it.
We're trying it out.
That's right. So you're going to get our live reactions on the air.
I'm
in
voting the
terms
shit's
of
meat tenderizer, dude.
We have no
right.
idea what this says.
what is in this bottle.
And we have no idea what's inside.
Mhm.
But we're
There's
going to try
floaty-
it.
There's floaties inside.
There are
Yeah.
floaties inside.
There's strange
That doesn't, oh, man.
organisms
I
floating
have
around.
no idea what I got myself into, but hey,
That's
that's what we do.
That's right, baby. We take the leap so that you all don't have to take them. Although, the funny thing is this. It is theorized that in our anthropological past as human beings, more liberal-minded people, or people whose lineages made it so that they are more liberal-minded today, were the ones that would go around through the forest or what have you, foraging and finding berries, and they were the ones who would taste them and try them and see, okay, this berry, this is okay to eat. Excuse me. This one over here, I had my cousin have some first, and maybe not so good. This one over here, I had some of my own, and it's
We had a berry Aunt Jill.
that's right. So those people, Aunt Jill is dead.
Poor Aunt Jill.
God damn
Too
it.
many berries, dude.
My
Too many
one
fucking berries,
yeah,
man.
The berries buried
She
the
had the
bitch.
dingleberry.
And it's theorized that these are the people that became liberals, because when they do brain scans of
Okay.
human beings and take their political affiliation first, what they find is that liberal people tend to just sort of walk around being less afraid or less like beaked out than conservative people.
Okay.
In fact, you know what they did? A while back, there was a survey done that asked liberals and conservatives, any person, give us a famous person that you would like to have dinner with. And liberal people picked, I don't know, Lady Gaga, or they're just harmless entertainers that were kind of neither here nor there. The leading person who conservatives picked was Andrew Lincoln.
Andrew Lincoln.
AKA Rick from The Walking Dead.
Wow.
Because Rick keeps us safe. He keeps us safe.
He is going to keep us safe during that zombie apocalypse,
That's
but
right.
that's just his character.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you know, that's it. No one ever
They
said
really
that.
believe it.
And your point is,
Well, my that's right. Yeah, what's your point exactly? There's a difference. No, but my point is that it makes sense because as soon as I posited the experiment, I said we're gonna drink from this random ass bottle. We don't know what it is. I knew going in, Jay's gonna be in.
Oh, yeah.
George is gonna have questions, and that's why for George
I question.
had to bring a
Forsters.
Bolsters for beer, mate.
Right. We had to bring a special alternate beverage, although he's being a trooper and sipping it
Shit,
as we
yeah,
go.
he's gonna try it.
By the way, which one's mine, man?
This one, man.
No, you know what? I do
This
agree
big
that you know what. I myself am more on the liberal side,
Right.
and I am also more what I would like to call food venturous. Food venturous. Well, I don't call it myself. I didn't coin the term, but
Yes,
that's
you
what
did.
I am.
Trademark. God
No.
damn it.
That's it.
But no, I'm
Nobody tried to
willing.
use
I'm
it.
willing to try new things, and I don't think. And this is just my opinion. I don't think a lot of conservative people are willing to do that.
Yeah, you know that's absolutely right, and we think it's because, and I happen to think it's why conservative people are more. I'm worried about my money. I'm worried about the traditional American family. I'm concerned about education. In other words, everything that suggests security is what these folks are attracted to.
Okay.
George, can you speak on that? You're. I mean, you know, I
Absol-
I worship at the feet of Mr. Trump, but I would say overall you're the most conservative guy here.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny because conservatism, yeah, it's about surviving, right? Because they're the ones that pack the money, right? They pack the money, they bank it for a future event or whatever the case is, and they're generally people that die with a lot of money and live
Wow.
a very, very limited life, right?
Yeah. No.
And
that makes sense.
Limited life meaning what?
like very, very limited. I mean, what would you call it? Frugal life, like meaning like, you know,
Oh,
spend
self-denying.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Wow.
So it's all about packing it, never spending it. And the biggest ones that experienced that the most prevalent was people that lived through the Depression. So they actually would just literally have millions and millions and millions in the bank, and they would just pass away, just give it to their relatives or whatever, and they were shocked to know that they had, you know, about 10, 20 million stacked away.
Wow.
And this is all from like, you know, just like really, really simple things like recycling cans and but they didn't know that they would stash away all these stocks in these trunks, like
wow.
you know, company certificates.
like AT&T stock or
Yeah.
whatever.
So the, you know, the Depression was such a trauma that they just want to never to experience that again.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn, that's intense. So, I mean, you know, it's funny. I actually have a friend like that who is of that sort of mentality, who will remain nameless because he is fairly litigious, and I suspect were I to name him, he would come and try to take everything I own
Oh, wow.
legally, then adding further to his own net worth. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's something that I never have quite understood in terms of living life that way. It doesn't seem like much of a life. I mean, it just, you know, this is a guy who is in his, you know, he's at 40 or looking down the barrel at 40. His worth, I can never get a clear answer from him about how much he's worth, but it's in the hundreds of thousands.
Okay.
You never know it from looking at this guy, from meeting him. He drives a piece of shit truck with a standard transmission and roll-up windows. He dresses like a fucking he
Like a
rolled
dirtbag.
Yeah, or like he rolled around in a
Fucking
homeless
mud.
guy's pile of clothing, and just sort of randomly picked out items and put them on. And it's like, but I swear, you know, he's always talking about he wants to go to Europe and travel, and I've told him, I said, no, you don't. Well, yeah, I do. No, you don't. You know how I know you don't? Because you haven't done it. Well, I have to save up money, bro. You have more money than anybody could believe. And you know what I mean? And I think that's what you're getting at. I think that's what that is.
There's always there's a day that never comes.
But I feel like you're
A day
talking
that
about
never
me.
comes.
about you.
Like, I feel like I have a truck. I dress like homeless. You know, I want to go to Europe.
I got banked.
No, but are you like way rich, like my buddy?
Oh no.
That's the key difference. No, I mean, if
No,
you're
I'm legitimate poor.
No, if you listen, if you are poor and you look poor, that's in line.
sense.
That's
Oh,
the way
okay.
the world should be. But George, you were saying something important.
No, just pretty much. He's
The
he's
day
o-
that
he's,
never
he's
comes.
stashing for a day that will never come.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that day is a future event that I guess he maybe in his mind feels that he'll finally accomplish maybe the freedom, like allowing himself that he finally says to himself, I have enough to allow myself now, but that day will never come.
Yeah, because I mean, the way I see it, you know, once you start making that money, it's kind of like an addiction. You're always gonna want more, more and more and more and more and more. It's
Dre's
never
shaking
enough,
his head.
right, Dre?
Yeah.
Is that the case,
And
buddy?
you know what? I mean, it makes sense that you know you do need to save money, but not to the point where you have enough and you don't enjoy it.
Now,
I have a friend, and her dad told her, when you die, you're not gonna take that money. What's gonna happen with that money? You know, it's probably gonna, maybe it'll go to your family. That's great, but you're not gonna have it. So why not enjoy it right now while you still can?
yeah,
And that's the way that I want to live.
no, and that's funny because he did, this guy, this rich friend of mine, have a near-death experience. I'd like to have him on the show, except for we are on weird terms because I've tried to talk to him about money. He just gets fucking weird.
Alex wants to charge him.
That's right.
No, but wait,
That's right.
you said
Cover
he had a
charge at the
near-death
door.
experience. What
He
happened?
did. You know, he's never, again, I suspect he's never taken care of his health because that costs money. So, you know, the guy
a tight-ass
is now,
motherfucker.
yeah, he is. and the guy, you know, is now, you know, pushing 40, and I think something happened with his heart or his liver or some crap. Point is, the dude was essentially dead.
Damn.
And he did, you know what, let me talk about his experience, and screw him, he's not a good friend. 'Cause he doesn't want to talk to me about what I want to talk about.
Guy.
But you know, apparently what happened was he was at his parents' house where he lives, despite the fact that he's old and rich. and apparently
How
he was
sad.
he
What
was-
the
no,
fuck?
I know. No, I'm saying, you're telling me.
Like
You're
if he
telling-
has the money.
Oh, I know.
What the fuck?
Listen,
What
I'm
if
saying,
what if one day his bank account comes out and he sees a statement, it's like at fucking $10?
Oh.
Like,
I'd laugh.
motherfucker.
I would have a strange feeling in my bed and just start laughing hysterically like a maniac
All of
for
that
no
for
reason.
nothing.
For no reason at all. No, he was in his bed because living at your parents' house till you're way old is a good, you know, way to save money
well,
or what
yeah.
have you. I know he's insane. And actually, the more I dissect it and sort of unpack it, the worse I feel. It's like, what if he's got a legitimate mental disorder?
Oh,
and I'm
man.
making fun of him. But no, he's in his bed
possible.
one night. Don't guilt me. He's in his bed one night.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. I'm gonna
He's
go.
in bed.
Gotta go home
Alex,
and.
Alex is peering through the window.
That's
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
I'm gonna go home and examine the kind of person I am.
Just look at his license plate.
He's in his bed and he starts wheezing. Right.
Okay.
Long story short, they get him to the hospital, and he passes out right in the waiting room. Just collapses.
Wow.
And you know, the nurses are out there. I hear this from his family later on, and I get, you know, the doctors come out with the gurney and they clear and all that bullshit. And I get a call late at night from his number.
Okay.
And I think, what the fuck? Why is he calling me this late? It's his sister-in-law. She says, "Hey man, you know, what are you up to?" And I said, "Oh, you
Does
know."
she sound like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, man.
She smoked. Hey, don't make fun of her. She's got throat cancer. She's been smoking a pack a day for 20 years. What kind of fucking fucked up person are you? She's like, "Hey man,
Pretty
what
fucked up.
are you doing?" No, and she says, "Listen, you know, I think I've already said his name. I'm not gonna make that mistake.
did,
twice.
actually,
Those
yeah.
those of you who want to know
I
the name,
heard you.
you can go back in the show.
You.
And you know, he's on life support.
Whoa,
Wow.
no shit.
And I thought, okay.
Damn.
And they said, you know, so if you want to come by, you should, you know, come and hang out for a bit. And I said, I'll go tomorrow. And she says, no, you have to come now. And I said, okay.
Damn.
So I made my way over there. And yeah, the dude was on the verge of death. I spoke to the nurses and so forth. They said he you know, they're like, no, the worst is over. We think he's gonna make it at this point.
Oh wow.
So I said, fine. And after the period of sort of awkwardness, because if you've ever had someone who almost died, there is a period of sort of a cooling off period where you don't really bring up the event.
You're like, so how was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Did you see him?
Did you see Jesus? Did you see him?
Right.
Would you bring me?
Well, actually, Jesus is Chinese.
Oh.
Turns out he's a Chinese
Oh, so he
man.
gave
Hey,
you-
you
it
never
gave you
know,
nothing.
man. I mean, shit. It could
It makes
be, bro.
sense. It
No.
makes sense.
How does it make sense, George?
Because all Chinese or all the
Oh, whoa.
Christian crucifixes and stuff were made in China, man.
It all adds up now.
Yeah, it all makes sense, man.
it all makes sense.
Yeah. No, and so he told me that while he was out, he saw two distinct, what he felt were previous lives that he had lived. He said in one, ironically, it's funny, I didn't, he actually was in Asia. For both of them, he was an Asian person.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
He said the first one was, he said he was in feudal Japan or some long time ago in Japan, and they were on a boat fishing.
Okay.
And it was him who was a little boy on the boat, and there was an older man with him. And the older man was hollering at him and beating him and saying, "We haven't caught any fish. It's all your fault. We haven't caught any fish."
Oh.
And then he remembers looking down at the basket for fish, and it was empty. And he's
Oh,
like, "Crap,
shit.
I'm in deep shit because we haven't caught any fish." And he said the second one was him in what he felt to be China, ironically.
Okay.
We didn't set this up, folks. What he felt to be China in the 70s. And he said that he was being operated on, and that the doctors, the surgeons, were smoking as they operated on him. And he was outside of his body, right, isn't it? And watching this happen, and he remembers being outraged at the fact that, like, oh my God, I'm sitting there cut open, sliced open, and these guys are smoking cigarettes.
No
Like,
shit.
this is the most unsanitary thing ever,
Yeah.
And
But it was the 70s, bro. I mean,
right,
it's
I
not-
know.
don't
No,
give a
listen,
fuck.
go back 20 years.
Those
Yeah.
doctors were probably on coke all the
They
time.
recommended it.
Yeah.
He's like,
No.
there's nothing better than ash to fucking seal
Yeah.
the wounds and shit.
Well, they weren't retarded,
Let's
George.
Colorado it.
They didn't have Down syndrome. They were a little backwards back then. No, but they actually, there is a prescription, I think, where I don't remember what it was. It was depression, but there is a legitimate prescription where one cigarette a day will help your body in some way. But
Really?
it can't be more than that. It has to be one cigarette a day. I don't remember.
How
what it was.
does that
I
work?
think I might have just seen House at some
Good
point.
God.
No, and then and after he sort of came back and told me all these stories, I said I used it as a learning tool, and I said, "Look, man, you see that? You could have been dead. Then what happens to your money?" And he just kind of like, "Well, hey, it's in my, I have legal sorted out. It's gonna be left to the right people." And I just thought, "You're hopeless. I'm not gonna bring that." And then from then, it just became every time I would bring up money, he would just be like, "Listen, bro, I don't want to talk about it. All right? I don't like this.
It's
I don't
Shaquille
like
O'Neal,
it."
man.
See,
That's
the,
right.
you know
Buddy
what?
Shaquille
You know what
O'Neal.
comes to mind when I think about like people saving money to that excess? Hoarders. Is that a type of hoarding?
But listen
He is a little bit of a hoarder.
Listen to that story. He was in a situation where he had super lack. The food that was being accumulated in the boat was at a minimal.
George is talking
right?
about the vision that
About
he
the
had about the one in Japan with
Yeah.
the fish, right?
So basically, it was his life on online because like I was beating him to probably to an inch of his
Okay.
life, right? So that's why he hoards. I mean, that's why I think he hoards all this money because it symbolizes maybe fish for him somehow.
Wow. So you think that so you think there is legitimacy in the idea that he really did while he was out see another life of his or something like that?
I think that's valid because I've read a few books and I brought up this guy named Wes a few times, and he's regressed a few people to help them with their.
You mean hypnotic regression?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Hypnotic regression, and he found that there's people that have these ailments, these behaviors that current psychiatrists couldn't really treat.
Okay.
And so they went to him, and he regressed them a regressing session
Bless
to
you.
go. Bless you, bro.
Thank you.
A regressing session generally takes about 6 to 8 hours just to get them to a point where they start, delving into past lives according to the book, right?
Huh.
And they would regress to situations where, in particular, that book I mentioned this once on the show. There's this one lady that she suffered from this chronic pain in her left rib cage, and they couldn't find the source of it, right?
Okay.
He regressed her far enough to where they discovered that she took an arrow in one of those lives and she got killed. She took an arrow from an Indian while they were on a train
You mean Native
like
American, sir? Native American.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's
Thank
actually
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
George.
Say it
Thank you,
right.
bro.
Say it
Say
right.
American
say-
Indian.
Say it.
No, no,
I
no, no.
want
No,
to
I'm not
hear you
saying it,
say
bro. I'm not saying it.
What
It was a
kind
South
of
American
bigoted
Indian.
Oh, there you go.
asshole
No,
are you?
he was right.
Illegal Indian, by the way.
Oh.
I don't want to say that. But he uncovered that she took an arrow in the side, and that's what terminated her life. And this
Wow.
is while they were on this train from the east going to the west coast.
Okay.
So once they discovered that and they uncovered it, she healed from it somehow. So your buddy, I mean, if you would be rather, I guess, using that situation as to his advantage, he'd probably see that as, fuck, I fucking can heal from this now, and I can spend my money on Alex.
Ah, there you go.
Right. Listen, that's what I'm trying to convince him to do.
Yeah, there
Every
you go.
time we hang out.
Spend money on Alex.
That's
the-
right, man.
Take me to the
Hey,
titty
it's
bar,
funny.
Alex.
It's funny that talking about like reincarnation. What are the odds of you, if reincarnation does exist, of you being reincarnated into the same family? Because I read a story, or not. I didn't read a story. I saw a story.
You lived this story.
I lived the fucking story.
You experienced
okay,
the story.
but there was this guy, and they were interviewing him, and what he said was that he has this memory of himself as a little kid, in the kitchen, climbing onto one of the kitchen chairs, and then because I think one of his toys or a ball flew out of the window, so he climbed onto the chair, and then he tried to reach for his ball outside, and then he fell out the window. And he told his parents this, and his parents were like, "That wasn't you, that was your brother, and he died.
Oh my
He died because he fell out the window. He broke his neck. He was little, and then you were born later." He's like, "I have that memory." So it begs the question, like,
Oh, man.
what are the like maybe that family?
I hear that's actually the common trait. You
Really?
the people that you experience in life are like soul families.
Okay.
And you like, for example, your grandmother dies or some shit.
Okay.
And then you have kids. There's a good probability that there may be some sort of influence on that little kid that was your grandmother's.
So it's just recycled souls into the family.
Yeah, apparently there's some sort of soul thing where people they have to teach each other lessons. Like maybe they coddled you when you were you were young, and you had to return that favor to them.
Okay.
Yeah, some shit like that.
Oh, that's interesting. That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
So then that would explain what isn't that sounds like the concept of karma, right? Or whatever the hell else these like random hippie 25-year-old retarded chicks from Pasadena talk
Oh
about.
damn! Is
Right
that
in the
a
yoga
chick
pants.
You
group?
can call
Is it a
them
chick group?
hipsters.
What you guys are talking about has been proven in lab tests with animals.
What's that, man?
Such as rats and stuff, where like if something rats learn is dangerous, then future offspring will also know that
They
that
pass
same
it on.
thing is dangerous. That's kind of like what you guys are talking about.
You know what? No, that's very fascinating. I know the story you're referring to.
Is it one story? I don't even know.
No, it is. It was, and it's really interesting. It actually, there is research to suggest that populations pass survival mechanisms forward in genes.
Huh.
In other words,
if you think about it, that's probably evolution right there, right?
Yeah.
that's
Because
what that is, yeah.
that's evolution right there.
That's a,
That's evolution of the
just
soul.
so you know.
There
Right
you
there,
go.
done. I drop it. Poof,
The questions to the universe have been answered.
Well, that concludes this episode of the JAG Show. We've said everything we needed to say. George
evolution.
solved the universe. No, and it's funny, and one of the ways in which you see that okay, who in here is afraid of snakes?
No one, right?
Anyone afraid of snakes?
I don't like snakes or spiders, and I'll tell you why.
Right.
I can't tell which ones are poisonous and which ones are good.
Oh, I
That's
can't either.
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, that's interesting. Who here is afraid of heights?
Right here, me,
You? Yes. So
Mr.
I'm not ashamed
J.D.
to say
Marcel
so am I.
is afraid of heights.
That's right. Now these, there really is. I mean, why should you be afraid of heights?
because I'm really clumsy. I know that
Yep.
one wrong step, which is more than likely to happen with me, and I'm fucking dead from somewhere high. I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna fall. I'm an idiot
At
when it
least
comes
you
to.
know.
Dude, I remember one time.
God, if only George had that kind of self-awareness. Oh,
Sorry, guys.
my
No.
life and this show would be so much easier.
I went on this trip to San Francisco And on the way, I stopped at Big Sur, California, and there was a beach that you had to climb down the rocks, and I couldn't. I totally pussied out, dude. Like I couldn't climb down the rocks because I was so scared. It was high. It was like a cliff and they had like a little path, but it was like full of jagged rocks, and I was like, man, fuck this shit. And I was like kind of crawling down, but I couldn't make it.
Here's a question for you guys: how much do you think of that is your parents, man?
I think a good amount of it is people's parents.
Yeah, like for example, swimming, right? I mean, my wife, she doesn't swim. She never swam in her day in her life because her parents put the fucking fear of drowning. Yeah, drowning.
Is your wife a sister?
A sister
of the darker persuasion?
Oh,
that's a thing. I think that's a thing in the
sister.
That's right. Is she that kind of sister, George?
She's anything I want her to be.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you scared of?
You know, I okay. That's actually a really good question. I do have this. Now here's the thing. My whole life, I've never understood how people could be afraid of scary movies. I've never understood, I watched The Exorcist and it was a nothing. I would watch zombie movies as a kid. It was a 0.
Okay.
And I wasn't afraid of any of that crap ever for even a second. Now, the one thing that always got me and put the fucking fear of God in me were gray aliens.
Oh, fascinating.
And movies about gray aliens.
So E.T. was fucking terror?
No, he's not a gray alien.
He's not a gray.
But he's
yeah.
cute,
He's
though.
a brown.
He's a brown shorty?
Brown. Huh?
A brown shorty?
Yeah, he's a
What's
shouty.
that movie called? Like Encounters of a Different Kind or something?
Oh, the fourth kind?
Oh, the fourth?
Is that
or the
Bro,
third kind?
I was a grown ass man when I watched that movie, and when I went home, I've never been happier that my roommates had people over and were drinking, so that I wouldn't have to go to fucking sleep.
Yeah, but those kind of aliens you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's that type of shit. My grown ass. I watched that movie in theaters when I was 23 years old, and I remember just sitting there being like, "Holy crap!"
What
I
about
wish I had
Independence
watched
Day?
that.
What do those kind of aliens do for you?
Nothing.
Predator.
Anything that's not the Greys, I don't give a shit about.
Really?
Yeah, it's really, and it's funny.
I mean, the Independence Day aliens seem way more fucking dangerous than the
No,
Greys.
but I think the encounters. I think encounters of a third, fourth kind, whatever
The
it was.
fourth kind, the movie. The
It was
fourth kind.
it was real. It was actually kind of an account of
That's what everyone
of
says,
contact.
yeah.
So that was. I probably strung some sort of deep thought that you had, man.
That's
Dang,
what-
maybe you got abducted by.
No,
That was a real story.
no, it really was.
I know it was claimed to be a real story, but it wasn't a real story.
Oh, Dre doesn't believe.
No, I think it was. Listen, I don't buy this crap
Okay.
either. I'm just saying that I've heard interviews with the guys that it's happened to. It's fascinating people. I wish we had the budget to get those guys. If we could find those guys. I wish
Facebook, everybody on Facebook
Everybody
land,
on
ring in,
Facebook.
dudes.
Listen,
Hit us up.
yeah, listen, everybody out there, if you're listening or watching on Facebook Live, if you've had encounters with extraterrestrials, we want to hear about them.
We want your stories.
Get on the mic now. But,
Yes.
it's funny. In terms of where that fear comes from, I've had this conversation with, again, my infamous friend, who we may or may not have on the show. I don't want to get hopes up.
Yeah.
That was abducted by aliens. He's convinced, based on conversations that we've had, that I was abducted too.
Yeah, you know what? I don't doubt that, man.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
that's
I don't
What
doubt
makes
that at
you
all.
think that
for
Martinelli
God's
has been abducted by aliens?
Yeah.
Well, just from what I listen to right now, like
Okay.
The Exorcist didn't scare the shit out of him. Scared the fucking living Jesus out of fucking half of the globe.
Yeah,
No, are you
millions of
kidding
fucking
me?
people.
When we saw the remake in theaters, I saw it with my sister and my mom, and I went up to go take a leak or get popcorn or whatever. And when I come back, I've never seen my poor little sister so terrified. She's looking up at the screen, just frozen in fear. And I think, being a brother, I snuck up on her and like tapped her on the shoulder real quick. And it was in the theater, just an earth shattering. Ah! It was the funniest thing ever.
So basically for something to have a real kinetic effect on you, you have to have some sort of belief system to it. Then there has to be some sort of deep down memory of it or something, because if the Exorcist didn't scare the shit out of you,
No.
but the encounters thing did kind of like maybe trigger something, there's a possibility there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Although that's funny that you say, because I mean, I believe in this crap? I don't think I do. Aside from secondhand experiences, but I do know that much. I mean, if the question is, what are you scared of? It's gray aliens. Yeah.
See, that's crazy because I mean, gray aliens
By the way, as
are
an aside-
the least. that I am scared of. I think they would. They seem so friendly to me. That's why.
Are you high?
Just the way they look. I mean,
It's-
they look hard. Obviously, you know, they're probably if they do exist, then they're probably, you know, they have the technology to vaporize me or whatever the fuck.
Dre, can we pull up a picture of a gray alien?
Yeah,
Alright.
let's pull it.
So
But
people can-
you know what? I mean, they look the least harmful
Threatening?
to me. Yeah, the least threatening.
They do have a when you think
They're
about it
cute.
away from the sinister horror,
Right.
and I think about not knowing what it was, it does have that like puppy dog thing going in a
The
hideous,
big black eyes,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
in a hideous, horrific sort of a way. Those are my guys.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
God damn.
There you go.
I think Martinelli just peed a little.
Damn. Is
So
the electronics all right, man?
You
The
got your
electronics all
Twilight
right?
Zone. You got your old school Brainiac.
Check it out.
Damn.
Regressing and spinning off of this a little bit. Regressing to
this
a
one.
time when I met my wife, or she came out to watch one of my shows when I was playing some music, and I kind of give you guys a preface. I was playing some music in Pasadena, California, or Texas,
Oh,
That's the
and
Texas.
basically when I saw my wife, that was the first time she ever went to a show of mine, and she came with a girlfriend, and so I was in the middle of a song, and she sat down, and I looked over to her in the middle of a song. I was doing chord changes and shit, right, whatever, and the room
Listen to
seemed to just darken completely, like
Okay.
it seemed like they just dimmed the lights profusely, right, and she looked like one of those motherfuckers on the screen. With the
gray-
pale face, the long face, with the large,
dude, your
oval
wife
eyes.
is a total fucking alien, bro.
dude.
Is that possible?
You know what? It's like that's what I saw. You know, and I actually didn't I didn't draw that connection until I started seeing like aliens on the internet and stuff like that. I'm like, I thought it was just a
Wow.
ghost or something. You know, like a ghost. I mean, it was an odd thing, and I was surprised because
So in your vision, in that moment, she became some sort of otherworldly creature.
something like that. And that particular moment was the moment that I'm like, this chick is going to change my life. That was like the first time that I actually went out with her. I'm like, this is deep. Whatever the fuck is happening between her and I, she's going to change my
So
world.
then, I mean, what do you think are the possibilities that, you know, aliens were sent George's wife? She's actually a
she
gray.
is a gray, dude.
And you're something very important to them,
Yeah.
George. And that's why they want
You know, it's funny
to be with
you know,
her.
I'm kind of particular to I like all this alien stuff. I love this shit. And it's like, and it was only really triggered maybe in the last 5 years or so, right? But until I found this connection, you know, that's how I connected with, you know, whatever I was looking at that particular moment. And
Okay.
it seemed like time just froze down, and once I reacted, I was like, fuck, did I fuck up in the middle of the song? Because
You don't remember.
Like,
like,
it seemed like everything just slowed down and just darkened, and all I can see was her face, which looked pale and with large eyes. So then, from
Damn.
that particular moment, I was like, "Fuck, maybe there's something going on, man. Some
And
weird
for,
ass shit."
for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, who aren't linked to the video feed, the gray aliens are your classic big eye, big head alien that you see everywhere.
Area 51 aliens.
That's right, with the lollipop and so forth. But, you know, that's interesting, George, because here's the thing. I am not a proponent. I don't, sorry, this weird. Who's feeling the Asian crap, by the way?
I'm feeling it.
You mean that-
yeah, a little bit.
the,
Yeah.
meat tenderizer.
God. Oh,
That's
man.
cool.
It's
The
like-
Asian crap. I love the name for that.
yeah.
What year is this Asian crap? Is
We
it
have no
1772
idea.
Asian?
The subplot of the show is we have no idea what we're
It's
putting
funny.
in our bodies.
The more I
We
drink,
don't
the
know what
less
this
the
is.
less I notice how you know.
You feel like having
How
some sushi.
I initially
afterwards?
tried it and I was like, and now I'm like, all
Right?
right.
Doesn't it go,
delicious.
whatever it is, doesn't it go straight to your head?
Yeah, no,
Like,
it,
you
it definitely
feel it
does. I'm
right
starting
away.
to feel it right now.
Yeah, right away.
And I
it's
poured
a,
myself some more right
and
now.
it's a good feeling, right? It's like it's like a wine high.
No, yeah,
Right?
it definitely and at first it didn't go down smooth. Now it's going down smooth because I assume because it went straight to my head already.
That's right. Not sure if that's
You know what? We're gonna pull off this label at the end of the show
Oh,
and find out it's soy sauce.
Oh shit!
Mouthwash.
Vinegar.
No, listen. Everything on the bottle is written in some weird Asian writing. We have no idea what we're putting in our bodies.
Yeah. Hey.
By
there
the
you
way,
go.
listen, human race, you have
Hey,
my
let me
ancestors
see
to thank
it.
for this.
I'll tell you what it says.
You know?
Let's
Scan
wait
it,
till we
scan it,
finish
man.
it first.
Yeah, scan it.
All right, I don't know. Drake gets. Who cares? Get to work.
I'll find out what it says and I'll tell you at the end.
all right.
Go ahead.
Let's do it.
Have
Let's
fun.
do
Get
it.
to work. Okay, but you know, it's funny. There was news recently about a we detected a sort of weird signal from space, right?
Not just
Oh, yeah.
yeah, okay.
Several signals.
Actually, yeah, there was initially 2,
Mhm.
and now we detected 6 other signals, similar, but 6 different
But
signals.
they're really short durations, right? Maybe like not even a second,
I
right? A
think
couple of
so.
seconds.
something like that.
And
What-
they were apparently super powerful. I mean, they could power the Earth for however the fuck long.
Fuck, right?
And
But
we
they're
don't-
different from like anything that NASA has ever detected before in
I see.
space, and so this is a possibility that
Disclosure.
it's something that's not just the regular universe being the universe. It's something artificial, is what they're saying. Possibly, not for
You mean
sure, but
intentional.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I don't know. I think we don't. I'm not sure if we have enough evidence really to make any to Although there is, I heard a new agency forming, that is taking off of what SETI began, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, where they are making an effort to put out greetings or to put out a signal rather than just looking for a signal. So we're
Okay.
taking. And God, I wish I could remember. This is bad show prep, everybody. I wish I could remember where they were located. I
Yeah,
think
but you know what you also got to think about? Like, how long is it going to take for that signal to reach anything, if there's
Yeah.
anything out there?
and not only that, but we've been putting radio waves out into the space since we invented radio.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So
You know-
there's Walter Cronkite's voices out there.
Bonk,
And
tark, bonk, tark. I can't do it right now, but
every Yankee game you've ever listened to or watched on TV.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Although, the thing is, if you're Stephen Hawking, who, by the way, goddamn Stephen Hawking, you gigantic puss, he keeps over and over and over to, don't let them know we're here. Don't let them know we're here.
It's
Are
like,
you trying to do the-
Don't
don't
let them know we're here.
That's
But you
in
gotta do
bad
the little
taste.
Facing
And we have to put you in a wheelchair. This is in bad taste.
George, what do you think
Maybe-
could possibly be?
Maybe all that shit's been there all along. It's just they upgraded the system. Like, motherfucker, we got some sound now.
Ah.
Basically, I mean, if you think about it in a sea of randomness, some sort of small pattern, it has to be. It's something significant. Obviously, it has to be something significant.
And what would be, okay, let's say these 6 radio bursts or whatever they may be turned out to be something. And if you're George, you think
I'm packing my bags already, fool.
That's
Where are
right.
you gonna go?
to his wife's home planet.
I got a sign.
To his wife's home planet.
Gonna
Like-
check him out.
It's like, baby, we're leaving.
Yeah, that's right. I've been waiting for this day. A random tiny.
It's only 120 years left, baby.
That's right.
There's something I have to tell you, George.
All of this preparation has been for something.
Yeah.
That kind of dovetails into another story I picked up on Amazon about this gentleman. He was commenting, older guy. He worked for the government. He said most of the big outcomes of alien research, or just an explosion of alien information, was back from the 20s to the 50s.
Okay.
Right. And at the time, he was living with his parents at a location in a building, I think, in Long Beach. And this was back in '42, and he was commenting. Well, back in '42, we had an issue with Japan, right? So they thought they were going to invade California, right? So Californian coast was packing, right? You had
We had military forces.
yeah,
out.
you had guns, Long Beach, San Pedro, and actually there's still some guns in San Pedro, man. They're just
They're
like,
on display.
yeah, they're on display.
But I mean,
But basically, the guy was commenting that he remembered when he was a child, like maybe under 10 years old, with his parents looking off their balcony at spotlights, like illuminating off the coast of Long Beach, while their cannons are just rattling off in the background, and they're trying to knock down saucers.
what?
Yeah, so they were just flying around. So back then there was a thing about aliens in the particular that they were, I guess, pretty aggressive. He gave me the impression that they were aggressive. So
Aggressive
this
in
is-
what sense?
aggressive in the sense that they were,
In what sense do you think? Jay?
you know,
Sexually aggressive? No, military-wise, man.
Probably.
Weaponry.
I mean, you never know. There's a bunch of anal
Well,
probing
you know-
going on. Like that's shit. You never know.
well, maybe that's a good point actually, because maybe what was interpreted as aggression by the military was just fucking hanging out on the coast, right? Just cruising the coast.
Yeah.
But these guns were rattling the ships. They were hitting the ships, and it wouldn't phase them whatsoever.
Really?
And he was commenting that these ships were common to fighters up in the air, that they would knock down planes. They would knock down planes. Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So there are people that potentially got killed by alien aircraft.
Yeah, the aircraft
Wow.
was taking out ships in the ocean.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so but he said the bulk of all the advancements in just weaponry and all that stuff happened back in the 50s. Like when Kennedy wanted to go to the space race to fucking to the moon and shit like that.
Right.
All that was based on that type of mentality, right?
Do you guys think that maybe Kennedy knew stuff? Or, I mean, I guess you'd have to accept that presidents know things about
Right.
this,
Yeah.
about this sort of thing. And that maybe, because it's been batted around in conspiracy circles, not that I pay attention to this, but it's been batted around in conspiracy circles that John F. Kennedy was planning on some sort of disclosure. And the powerful people within our own government who weren't ready for that, well, now he's dead.
Damn.
And it's been theorized or thrown around that whenever a new president comes into office, and it'd be interesting to see how Mr. Trump reacts if this is a real thing, is your first day in the White House, they take you to some secret room, the Secret Service does, and they show you a film from different angles of Kennedy being shot. And they say to you, listen, you're about to learn some information that is highly sensitive. This gets out, you see what happens.
You're gonna get a serious part in your hair, bro.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the last haircut of your damn life.
Well, that's quite possible. At the same time, I mean, well, no, I guess it's more for people that are running for president or other political figures, but, divulging something like that to the people, saying that out loud, is in some sense political suicide, or some would consider that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to, be seen as a crazy person that believes in aliens when they're
Right.
running for office.
You're now being associated with the insane fringe.
Right.
By the way, we love you, Insane Fringe.
Yeah,
Thanks for supporting our show.
we want you.
No, but what would that mean then for life on Earth? I mean, what would if disclosure were to happen? Say, is this likely? No, but say President Trump, in a few weeks,
Trump.
comes out, our Lord and Savior, comes out and says, aliens are real. They've been visiting us for years and so forth.
You sound like JFK. You know this?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
He's channeling JFK. Right?
That's
JFK.
right.
I want to start off by taking off my shirt.
Look at these hands. These amazing hands. These are awesome hands. I don't have a crooked spine, but look at these hands.
Yeah. What if it comes out, and what if we find out that our government has been hiding this from us forever? How will this affect you guys' lives and life on Earth in general?
I think they may be overblowing it. I think that the populace is kind of like with these little hints of these blurps happening through NASA reporting of the radio blurps and stuff like that, or patterns and stuff like that. I think
Who's overblowing what?
I think the government may be overblowing that the populace can't handle it. Right?
You think the populace can handle
I
it?
think the populace can handle it.
Really?
Yeah, especially like with example that leak of that pattern, right? I mean, you don't see people running to the fucking streets and shit.
Well, I mean, there's a difference, I think,
yeah,
between
there's a huge difference.
a pattern that we know nothing about and actual confirmation of alien life.
Right.
Like, if alien life did get out, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that would
Yeah.
go fucking a little nuts, at
Yeah.
least a little crazy.
They'll be like,
fucking-
is Trump deporting them?
Oh, dude.
Well,
Hey, Trump.
Them aliens want our jobs.
yeah. No, it's something else. I don't know. Because wouldn't it turn your life upside? I mean, at the very least, people would become depressed because what about Jesus and what about Christianity And I mean, the idea that there are other life forms besides humans. I mean, wouldn't that? Okay, Jesus came to save humanity. So goes the doctrine. Well, so what? Why didn't you save all the other guys? Were
Yeah.
they not sinning?
You know,
Were
I
we
don't
the
think
only
I
ones
don't, I don't
sinning?
think it's primarily just the government, the U.S. government. I think that the church is behind it too. The Pope is behind it too.
Yeah, you know what? I think
'Cause he
there
got
is
a
some
lot
sort
to
of
lose.
affiliation
got
between
something to lose.
politics and religion. I mean, definitely.
Was there just recently an article coming out that was it Kerry? I don't know who visited Antarctica, right? Antarctica is supposed to be like a really private special place
Okay.
where there's ETs there.
I
right?
didn't know about that. Tell me more.
Yeah.
A
Detail.
lot of X-Files episodes set in
There you
Antarctica.
go. Yeah, if you just
Well,
watch
there's a lot of
X-Files.
research facilities up there, legitimately, and it's
So check it out.
so difficult to survive.
So some sort of big religious figure from Soviet Union just visited Antarctica. Why the fuck did he have to go there?
Oh.
right.
See, that's what I'm saying. A political leader, a big figure, going to a secretive place like that.
Yeah. But no, I'm sorry. I fucked up. It's a political, not a political leader. An archbishop or some shit from the Catholic Church from
Okay.
Russia went there to Antarctica.
Oh, okay.
Like he has no business there. What the hell? You know, he's gonna set up a fucking church there or what?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just he knows where Jesus is.
And also, we need to show these damn Eskimos where Jesus is.
Yeah.
They're out there worshiping the weird
penguins.
seal god or whatever. Yeah, the penguins.
Yeah, they might end up Muslim.
That's right. We can't have that. Another nation full of Muslims.
Oh boy.
Okay,
God
so
forbid.
what do you think are the odds? Like, if there was alien confirmation and the aliens turn out to be hostile, what are the odds of that happening? What do you guys think?
What would you guys do?
What can we do?
First of all, I think they would wipe us out if they wanted to.
yeah,
right?
obviously, yeah.
Obviously, right?
Well, you never know. There might be a planet full of like.
You're so
Mm.
nice. You never know.
You never know.
I think if I saw aliens and they told me to take my clothes out, I would stick my finger in my butt and be like, I'm cool.
They're
cool?
probably cool with that too, man.
Hide the finger, dude. Hide the finger.
No,
I'm
you
just
know,
saying.
they might be. There might be a planet of aliens who have cars on brakes on their front lawn, who just kind of are drinking a beer at noon and aren't really doing anything.
So they live in trailer saucers.
That's right. They maybe have their own version of an Xbox that they play all day. They're not really going anywhere in life. Spaceships, fuck that, man. I'm
No,
chilling
but I mean seriously, like, yeah, if
on my
if
nitrogen beach.
these are potentially beings that come, millions of light years away from the Earth. They have super advanced technology, obviously, with their spaceships, because when you're traveling through space, you have to think about the possibility of like rogue items, asteroids, whatever,
Yeah.
hitting against your spaceship.
Yeah.
So if they have the technology to protect themselves from that, what makes you think that they can't fucking destroy us?
No, and that's what went through my head, and likely a lot of the listeners' minds when George was talking about how they were shooting at the saucers and they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's like, really? we know how to travel light years across the universe with these weird little lead pellets that
They're
are
shooting
being
pop
shot
rocks
at us.
at
Well,
us.
think of
Right.
it this way though, like we could travel. We're almost able to travel to Mars, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
So if let's just say they're 50 to 100 years more advanced than us.
Okay.
You think in 50 to 100 years after we hit Mars, we're gonna be able to develop space weapons?
No, but I think those are the aliens. I don't think those are the guys coming around here. If there are guys coming around here, I think
Which
that
guy?
there. I mean, I suspect if there's alien life. God, what is this weird Asian crap? Dre, you know what this is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is it safe to drink?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh shit!
I don't know.
The big reveal will come at the end of the show.
I don't even know how to pronounce the name. I don't know what to tell you guys what it is. I saw the name and I don't know what you guys are drinking.
Oh shit!
I can tell you what it's made with.
Thanks,
That's about it.
Martinelli.
What is it made with?
It's ginseng.
It's
All right.
As far as the name goes,
You have
I'm
no
thinking
idea.
a family's name.
Hey, I told these guys, like, if we die tonight, it was a pleasure,
It
gentlemen.
was fun.
Hey, cheers.
And you will all cheers, everybody,
Cheers.
to the JAG show.
I thought it was
Yeah.
gonna say gin, and I was like, "Oh, he's supposed to drink gin." And then I read it again. I was like, "Oh no, it's ginseng."
No, but okay. In order to create
You guys have raging boners.
space weapons, space weaponry. Okay, we also got to think
Talking
about the
about boners, space weaponry.
space
The
boners.
Schwartz is with you.
I like that. But you got to think about the resources that are available on Earth, or what we've discovered so far. I don't think it would be enough to take down an alien race. With the resources that we have, it's definitely not enough. And
We
you got
know
to
it's
think
not
about
enough.
you got to think about the resources that they would potentially have You know, obviously, if they could build spaceships that travel through space millions of fucking light years, then they have better technology. They have better resources.
Oh man, I'd love to crack a gray alien over the head with a baseball bat. Big ass head. Oh, I'd get so much satisfaction from that.
That's probably why they don't show up.
God, if I could just give me like a metal Louisville Slugger, just give me one swing at those assholes. Oh, I'd get so much happiness.
I always hold on to the theory that, you know, the aliens, they could potentially destroy us, but they choose not to because we're like a puppy that they're looking after. You know, I mean, we're violent. We can get violent. We could bite,
Like
but
probing
our
us in
bite
the
isn't
ass?
going to do anything, like, to them. And they're like, oh, look how cute. They're trying to fight us.
But then why would they be abducting people and performing experiments on them?
Because, I mean, why wouldn't they abduct puppies?
Actually,
fucking
from
cute
what
as
I
fuck.
heard, they can't reproduce, so they need our genetics to reproduce.
How can they not reproduce, though? I mean, they've survived for so long. And
from what I understand from my channeling,
I think that's from
information-
Stargate SG-1. But
Yeah, there you go, guys.
I saw that episode.
From what I understand is that they've evolved to a point where they can't reproduce.
Wow.
So they're almost machine-like, from my understanding, almost like a biological machine.
The
Okay.
Greys.
And yeah, great. And so they need our DNA to be able to reproduce.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Maybe Martinelli's part gray.
Oh,
What's up?
God.
You look
Oh.
at that. Big eyes,
Oh,
big
God.
head. I love that.
How dare you? How dare you?
Mm.
Put that idea in my
Big
head.
glass, big dark glasses.
Yeah.
What?
Big puppy dog eyes.
And aren't there other races too? I mean, aside from the Greys, as far as we know.
Yeah, you know, from my understanding, there's quite a few races out there. But the Greys are kind of from my understanding is they have connections with the government because the government, in exchange for controlling the populace, right? The Greys give them weaponry. So
What the fuck?
Yeah, they give them
that they just
insight.
haven't, you know,
They give him
disclosed
insight
to
on
the-
stuff.
to-
Yeah,
okay.
so I guess if you keep the people at bay, you can easily pull them out of bed and shit and grab their goods.
Ah.
We say goods.
We're talking goods, bro.
Oh,
When I say
shit.
goods,
All
I
the
say
goodies.
goods. All right.
Mm.
No, but then there's supposed to also be other alien races who are friendlyly disposed towards humans. I mean, look, I from what I know, there's the very famous case of oh jeez, I wish I could remember the guy's name, but he lived up in the northern Billy something, who had encounters with Pleiadians, right, or Nordic aliens. There's supposed to be a big planet full of white people.
Okay.
Now, why they haven't attempted to take over the galaxy and take their gold, I have no idea.
Whoa.
But there's supposed to be there's supposed to be a planet full of just blonde, blue-eyed Nordics.
Huh.
Where, in other words, Hitler's utopia exists, just not on his planet.
Not on this planet.
Yeah, he fucked up.
You fucked up on the
Maybe
planet.
he was an
Hitler.
alien trying to do it here.
Yeah. Oh, maybe
I
Hitler.
mean, but isn't it ironic that he looks nothing like that? I mean,
it is kind of. Yeah, it is kind of.
And there's like
If I could
black
go
in his
there.
lineage. There's like an example of just such delusion.
You know what I
That's
remember?
funny.
I remember.
Hey, but
This-
here it says Nordic females are capable of being pregnant at any time.
Dre Day all day doing research.
There you go. Thank you, Dre.
So they're
Yeah.
Mexican?
Yeah, basically. And even the guys get and the guys
Mexican aliens,
the guys-
of course. It all comes together now.
Yeah.
The males are capable of impregnation about once a year. Is that of themselves or with the women?
Oh, so they could be asexual?
Or you just
Whoa.
blow one ultimate load every year of your life.
That's funny.
Imagine.
if you could blow the ultimate load of your whole entire year, but it meant you might get pregnant, would you do it?
Yeah, I think every guy.
Fuck
would.
yeah.
There's no,
There's no question.
Resisting.
I would. I don't like to gamble. I would take the chance. I would just blow a bunch of little loads and be like, "Fuck it, it was worth it."
for those of you
Back to
watching,
you, Alex.
Thank you.
Back to you, Alex.
After the
Hey, what was that?
empowering message.
What was the video that about the original abductions?
We'd have to have that potted up, I think, in order to
Ca-
play that.
what
We'll play
was
that
the
for
name
you
of
guys next time?
What was the name of the family?
The sort of first abduction of the modern era, or what's considered the first abduction
Right.
of the modern era, was the abduction of Betty and Barney Hill.
Barney Hill.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Who are, and there is tape of the hypnosis of this couple, this biracial couple who were going for a drive or coming home from someplace in the, I believe it was the 60s,
I-
and
it
they
would-
were
I think it's the
abducted.
second one.
They were abducted. Thanks.
Sorry, go.
They were abducted on the highway and were later regressed, hypnotically regressed.
Whoa.
And they show there's video or an audio of them. This isn't gonna work. We would have had to have set this up before the
Yeah.
show. Good job, everybody.
Yeah.
But primarily
No,
the recordings of the hypnosis, right,
Right.
were screaming.
No,
they were
listen, and I'll set this up with Jay beforehand on a show when we are going to talk about
Right.
this. We were going to have a show dedicated to aliens and alien life because we were going to have a guest on, but he flaked.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
hence,
cool.
hence
It
all the
happens.
listeners heard us doing this weird verbal acrobatic exhibition.
Why do you guys want to come?
It was work related. He had to stay at
Yeah.
work. That's why he couldn't show.
He had to drop his load, bro.
Why he flaked.
You rather make money than come here to the studio?
I'm saying,
yeah.
man, I'm saying. Get
Interpret-
information out to the people, not your own goddamn bank account. Next week's guest, whatever your
Right.
name is. All right, on that happy note, let's go ahead and shut this thing down. Dre, so you have no idea what we're drinking?
Oh, it's Sarawakwa Kugnyo.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's I think that's what I think is the name of the company. Like the just Sarawaka Naruwagu Ginseng.
I love when
Good
when
God.
George gets
Dude, this went straight to my head.
when George gets enough.
Jesus.
Let me bring it up again.
When George gets enough booze in him, he becomes fairly racist and fairly just says horrific things. It's fine,
Horrible.
Dre.
It's because
fine.
he's a
You know what?
Republican.
It'll
No.
just that's right.
It's horrible.
Just kidding.
It'll let's leave it a mystery. We don't know, and neither do the listeners. And hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week to do the show and not be dead. All right.
All I know is that it says stop all something.
Oh wow! It says
Fantastic.
stop all. What does it say? Whoa!
Koyama Saki.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Wait a minute. It's probably a form of sake.
It's a sake. Yeah, there you go.
Right
A ginseng
on.
sake.
The key word
Alright,
just
cheers.
spoken.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But you guys are missing stop all in the middle right there. I don't know what that is.
That's
Stop all
dangerous.
consumption immediately.
Do not
Stop
drink this.
all drinking of the sake.
Stop the
right.
drinking.
Dre,
All right.
producer Dre, can we get some music?
Oh.
All right, everybody. Where can the listeners find us?
JAGradio.com, guys. Go there. You have all the lists, all the posts from the beginning, back
Yeah.
when we were in the
All
massive,
the original
massive
audio stuff.
Alex stereo studios, right?
That's right.
That's
Wow,
sake.
someone's had more than they
Sake.
bargained
You could-
for.
you
And
could
that
also-
was alcohol less talking. Dude, I think I need alcohol in my system.
I think you
No,
do. Yeah.
listen.
You could also find us on Facebook, at Jag Radio, and also on Twitter, Jag Radio 1. Just look us up on that. Message us with your stories, your personal experiences, or if you want to be a guest, you want to tell your story live on the radio, we would love that as well. Come join us on the Jag team. Alex?
That's right. And for sorry about that. For JD Marcel, George Antonio, producer Dre Day All Day, I'm Alex Martinelli, reminding all of you to never stop learning.